Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Mastercast. I'm Simon, your host. This is Chris.
Hi.
We're going to be playing another game of Warhams today. We're going to be playing 3rd edition. I'm going to be bringing Silver now. Kind of. Got more points in Silver than I do in Living City, I think. Living City with trees. Lots of trees, because the change to the Wild Woods is amazing for me. Not so much for Silver.
Just to clarify, which change?
Oh, have you not read the change?
No, I know.
So,
for your viewers.
When you place the trees down now from a Tree Lord Ancient or from the Verdant... What's the spell called?
You should not be
What's
allowed.
the one that's outside of the Law of the Deep?
Verdant Blessing.
It is Verdant Blessing, so I was half there. So, you have to place it either 3 of them together in a circle, or you place them 3 like individual trees outside of 3 inches of each other, and outside of, is it 1 inch of terrain or 3 inches of terrain? I think it's 1 inch in models and terrain. We'll have a look. Basically, you can either deploy it as one big tree of 3 models, or you can deploy 3 individual ones, which means that in Living City with a Tree Lord Ancient, you can place trees down, and Durthu can now get his bonus +2 attacks, plus the other attacks that he gets.
It's massive. Like,
it is huge.
Basically, you get 3 Wildwoods for 1 spell.
Yep.
Because they
not even for a spell.
They all count. Well, not from the Ancient,
not
no, but like from the Ancient or from the spell. So, I mean, in Sylvaneth, you could do Ancient and the spell.
Yep.
And put down 6 in one go.
Yep.
Which just means you can literally, and because they're smaller, you can just cover the board in like teleport pads or for Durthu extra attacks.
That's it, and they're teleport pads, so I can teleport both Durthu and the Tree Lord Ancient through the same tree because their rule is not dependent on the tree.
Yep. And
And if someone stomps on the tree and removes its effect, Tree Lord Ancient and Durthu can still go through it. Yeah, it's good. It's real good. And you can place them, like, you got to place them wholly within 18. I said to some dude on the internet, I think it was in the city's Facebook group, like, I'll showcase it when I put them down how exactly I've done it so that you can see how it works, because it's a little bit complicated, but it's significantly better. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and I've got 30 Dryads, so that'll be fun. It's a fun list. 12 drops. No, sorry, 12 units, and I think I'm 7 drops. That'll be something I'll talk about later, but I think there's a preset number of drops and it's either 1, 3, 5 or 7, or they don't give a shit and take 1,000,000, so. And what are you bringing?
I am bringing Deepkin. It's a very different list. It's designed from the ground up for AOS 3, rather than just porting something over, because it has a unit that you literally will never have seen before, which is a unit of 30 Reavers.
What?
Because previously they had a max of 20. Now, obviously with the double reinforcements and taking a Tidecaster as general, I mean any Isharan hero, but I'm taking a Tidecaster general in Futhan because I'm going for a Flip Tides build. So the Isharan hero means that the Reavers become battle line. So then when you flip the Tides, which you can only do if you have a Tidecaster general, you reverse the Tides so that you, instead of starting with cover, run and charge, fight first, retreat and charge, and then go back to cover, it swaps over, so you actually go retreat and charge, fight first.
Oh, so you don't get double cover.
Run and charge, cover, retreat and charge.
Shit.
But in Futhan, which is why you do it that way, whenever you are affected by Ebb Tide, which is the retreat and charge, you get affected by Flood Tide instead, which is the run and charge. And so what happens is turn 1, your army can run and charge or run and shoot. Not both. Then you fight first, then you get run and charge.
So turn 2 is fight
cover.
first.
Yeah. Then you get cover, then you get run and charge again. Okay. And in Futhan, whenever you're affected by Flood Tide, which is the run and charge or run and shoot one, you get to reroll 1s to hit, and that's shooting and combat.
Okay.
So there's a lot of synergy.
Yeah, sounds good.
And then, I've got 6-ish lane, which are the defensive eels.
Yeah.
I would love a 9, but obviously they can't be battle line in this list because I don't have a king.
Why those guys over Morsar?
Oh, because they're just so much better.
Okay.
Morsar is so expensive now anyway, so there's like a 40-point difference.
It only took a decade!
I never wanted to take Morsar anyway, but no, the Ish lane, they ignore Rend, which I think is super good, and they actually pump out loads of attacks anyway.
Oh, so they ignore Rend innately, but you can also give them all out.
You can give them
defense.
You can give them plus defense. They just ignore Rend, so they have a good version of it.
So they're basically always on a 3-up then.
No. See, the best thing is when they charge, they get +1 to their save. However, they don't get +1 to their save. Their save characteristic changes to 3+, meaning that you can still give them +1, so they can be 2+ ignoring Rend.
Working as intended, I'm sure. What the fuck is that?
So on the charge, they can be 2+ ignoring rend.
Yeah, okay.
And then I've got an Eidolon of the Storm, which was always the better one. For some reason, he wasn't the one that went up.
No.
Be careful, War Scroll Builder, they've got it the wrong way round.
Well, maybe G-Dub had it the wrong way around.
In the GHB,
that's true.
the wizard went up,
the wizard
not
went
the fighty one. So I've got the fighty one because he's great, and he has an 18-inch +1 to wound bubble, which works for shooting and combat as well. And then I've got 2 10s of thralls, for the rest of my battle line, and they're also amazing. And then I have a Leviathan, which just makes the army, because with all the Namati, it gives them +1 to hit and +1 to save. I've got the Reverberating Carapace, which extends the range to 15 inches instead of 12. It comes with a base 2+ save on the turtle.
Why did you choose Reverberating over Ancient?
Because it's not getting attacked very often anyway, so the ignoring rend one I don't care about so much. I can do all-out defense if I want to, and it starts on a 2+, which essentially gives me the ignore rend one. But honestly, the +1 to hit is if the enemy unit you're targeting is wholly within range of it. It's not if your Namati are wholly within range of the turtle. And so actually the extra 3 inches really helps. Just to get stuff in.
That's what she said.
Just to get stuff in range. But yeah, the turtle's amazing. Like, it's got incredible output. It's got decent shooting. It's a monster, which for AOS 3 I really wanted a monster. To be able to be honest, Raw is the big one for me. I've already seen the impact in test games of just being able to say, no, you can't go all out defense on yourself on the turn you're trying to kill something. It makes a big difference. And then I've got a Soul Scryer with the most powerful finger in the game. +3 to charge.
You're fucked.
And he's a priest, which is great. So he's now got the generic curse, which can give me the whole army.
9-inch, 4 up, 6 to hit, do stuff against the unit.
Which is amazing because it's for anything that attacks that unit. And when you've got Reavers that can put out 90 shots, it's pretty good. And I think that's the army.
There you go. All right. So that's a pretty long
rundown. And I've got Horrorghast.
So I posted a list on Twitter. Chris changed it after the fact.
Well, I told you I was changing it, and put the wrong one up.
So instead of having one Alapex with the Razor Shell Harpoons, he's actually got the Horrorghast and the
Emerald Lifeswarm.
Emerald Lifeswarm.
Do you even play?
No, I don't. Not enough. So you got 2 endless spells instead,
which will be new.
Which is interesting because you've got 2 wizards.
So that's the thing. My Eidolon, I've decided to drop the cloak because I have not used it in any of my games. I found it being wasted.
Yeah, because you want him to fight. You don't want him to not fight.
It's normally about stopping shooting, but to be honest, you control that with movement. So what I've gone is I've taken the Arcane Tome to make him a wizard, which means that gives me an extra unbind, which I think will be really useful, especially now that you can do them in both hero phases. And then it means that he's going to be able to store up an Arcane Bolt, cast a Mystic Shield on himself, or drop down an endless spell.
On himself is big.
And
he heals after he retreats and charges. Retreating and charging is also important.
Gets an extra attack and damage when he does.
Yeah, it's real good with flaming weapons.
And then the spell I've taken from the Lawyer's Flaming Weapon, which makes his spear damage 4, 5 attacks. He's not a Dirthu, but it's probably better than a Dirthu. We'll see.
Maybe. We'll see. Depends how close I can be to my Wildwoods. All right, we'll come back with the army list first, and then we'll do deployment and stuff. This is the very orange army, obviously painted to a high standard. What is it? Yellow, red?
It'll be yellow and pink.
Yeah, so yellow and
These
pink.
guys.
Yellow and pink together make orange. So. Let's talk about stuff. So we've already discussed the list in a little bit of detail. So Eidolon of the with the Arcane Tome, and that's it? And Flaming Weapon. Then down here we have these 2 guys. So the one on the left is a Tidecaster, which you probably haven't seen on the table in a few years. She's a caster. What's her lore spell that she took?
She's got Pressure of the Deep, which is a 12-inch range, cast on a 7. You pick a model in the unit within 12, and if you roll over its wounds characteristic, it's dead. So you can use her to break coherency.
Model snipe,
and stuff like that. Her War Scroll spell is D3 mortal wounds and -1 to hit, which is not bad either. And then she has got the generic trait for re-rolling to cast.
Reroll cast. That's a really good trait, actually. I like that one. I've been looking at it on a few of mine. And then you've got a Soul Scryer, who's just point. The 2 endless spells, obviously. Mine is the beautiful Horrorghast on the left. What a lovely model. And then yours is the Sparkle. which is going to go on a clear acrylic base. That's why its base isn't done yet.
Yeah.
And then zooming out again, so we've got the battle line, so we've got the 2 units of 10 Reavers, Thralls, unit of 30 Reavers. We've got the Turtle, who's seen better days, but at least someone's still riding him.
He's mid-paint stripping.
He's mid-strip, he's not even close to being painted yet. And then we've got the 6 defensive eels that have all fallen off their flight stands.
They've not been glued down.
So, well,
the army is being painted, so
there we go.
It's being painted.
We're making an exception for Chris to bring an unpainted army on the channel because he's a nice guy. That's about right, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
What battalions have we got? Just 1 drop. Everything's in the 1 battalion.
Yep.
So he probably could have gotten the extra artifact or the extra enhancement, if he wanted, but he's gone for 1 drop, which is fine because my army's 7 drops, so Chris will be deciding what happens first.
Yep.
All right, and you're 1975 with this list, aren't you? Yep, cool. So we will come back with my army. So this is my army list in all of its glory. So heroes, easy to start. So we've got Tree Lord Ancient on the left, and we've got Spirit of Durthu on the right. The Spirit of Durthu has the Amulet of Destiny, so he's got a 5 up ward save. And then we've got 2 guys down the front here. So the Sorceress is the Adjutant. Her spell is the -1 to wound spell. I can't remember what it's called. Inoak Skin, I think. And she has the Arcane Tome, which allows her to cast twice every hero phase, which is quite good. And then the guy on the right is just a Free Guild General. He doesn't have anything. He is the General, but he doesn't really have anything else. So zooming out, we have the Human Detachment, or the City's Detachment, which is 30 Free Guild Crossbowmen, 10 Free Guild Guard, and then 10 Bleaks. Well, they're Dread Spears, but they're Bleak Sword models. The Dread Spears are coming, I swear. And a Hurricanum without Guy on top, which Chris has just said that I'm a hypocrite, but that's fine, because I am, and I'm okay with that. And then over this side, obviously the non-cities detachment, which is a unit of 30 Dryads, because I think for 95 points they're quite decent, and I quite like them. So, because they get +1 to hit against something, they get -1 to hit if they're within a distance of a wildwood. Is it wholly within 6? I think it's wholly within 6. And they get +1 armor save when there's more than 10. So I quite like them. They're cool. And then we've got 3 units of Aetherwings. So they're good for like unleash hell things, like units of 30 Reavers, for example. You charge the Aetherwings in first. They can cop the unleash hell if he wants to waste a command point on it, and then the actual combat unit can go in after that. But they can also be good at just capping objectives. So, and then obviously the 3 trees in the back that will come on hopefully turn 1 if the Tree Lord Ancient isn't dead, which hopefully he won't be. And then that is the entire army. It is 1970, so I will be getting a Triumph, and the Triumph that I have chosen is +1 to wound, because you shouldn't take any other Triumph. Horror. If you take any other Triumph, you're an idiot. So yeah, not mincing my words here. Unless you're OBR. In OBR, I think taking the reroll charge is actually not a horrible idea. But in every other army in the game, you should be taking the +1 to wound.
+1 to wound, OBR love though.
Yeah, I know. But I think they need the reroll charge because they don't have it. Anyway, that's my army list. We'll come back with deployment. All right, so this is where deployment's at now. We've chosen the Vice. So in the bottom left-hand corner there, bottom right-hand corner there, you can see that there are objectives. They're going to move into the middle turn 2, and then there's going to be 1 objective in the dead center turn 4. I've left 5 units off the table, so I've put my 2 Aetherwings, one here to capture the objectives on the first turn, or on basically now, because you capture before the start of the game. Then I've got my 30 Dryads here, with the 10 Bleaks Dread Spears behind them, and a Sorceress, and the Tree Lord Ancient there, ready to put his tree out. 10 Free Guild Guard, and that's it. And the other 5 things are, let's try and control the camera. It's really difficult. Those guys over there, they're all in the sky. So a unit of 3 Aetherwings, a unit of 10. Wow, the camera is really struggling with that. Let's try again. There we go. 30 crossbowmen are in the trees. 3 birds are in the trees. The Free Guild General, the Hurricanum, and Durthu are all in the trees. And then coming back to Chris's army, he's got 10 Reavers here. 10 Namati there. 10 Namati there. 30 Reavers in the middle. 6 Eels in the middle. All the characters in the middle. Basically everything in the middle, and the 2 units of Thralls off to the sides. And nothing in the A, the C. So Chris, let's zoom out a little bit. Don't want to show all your pimples. Who's going first? He's been deliberating over this for the last like 5 minutes. Like I've watched him. So because he's actually deployed a fair bit back from like at least 4 inches back from this where he could. So he's 28 inches away from me, and he's.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go first because I think I made that decision when I set up back.
Okay.
I think there's something I'm concerned you're gonna do, but we'll see. But
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay. All right. We will be back at the end of my hero phase. Alright, so back at the end of the movement phase, we just skip the hero phase because it's not that important, right?
Simon's also changed his list.
I'm also changed my list, it's fine.
Sure.
So this chick, just for everyone's knowledge, is now the general, just because I changed my list because I realised that it didn't work the way that I did it. And this is why we play games. So we figure these things out. So she is now the general, she has reroll to cast. He's no longer the general. So 1 CP during the hero phase to do the +1 armor save wholly within 12 inches with the Tree Lord Ancient. And then obviously, as you can see, the Dryads and the Tree Lord Ancient moved through the trees and went over there. These guys came on. The Dryads have Iron Oak skin on them, so -1 to wound. And the Tree Lord Ancient has Mystical Shield and Arcane Bolt on himself, which is cool. Other hero phase stuff, you went for an extra CP and didn't get it. Oh, you did get it. I went for one and didn't get it. And then movement phase, Birdos have moved up because I cap these objectives so I can leave them. So I get them anyway. Birdos moved up, Birdos moved up. All these guys came on from this side. We've got 30 crossbowmen, the Freeguild General, the Hurricanum, and the Durthu. Are all on this side with obviously trying to body block with those guys. And we're going to go into my shooting phase where these guys are going to shoot at some eels and try and get rid of them. And this guy's going to try and shoot some Namati and get into them and try and capture that objective, because that'd be fun. And the battle trait that I've gone with is... Sorry, battle tactic, Chris.
Good.
What was it?
Say the right word. Have 2 units from your starting army.
Ferocious Advance, is that it? No.
In my...
oh, fuck, I don't know where it is. Here we go, this one. Savage Spearhead.
Yes!
Complete this battle tactic if there are 2 or more units wholly within your opponent's half of the board. And that's
half of the board.
Yeah.
So...
Woohoo! Okay, we'll come back at the end of the shooting phase. The salt is flowing already. So, because of where I placed them, I thought that I was closer to the eels. I wasn't. I was closer to these dickheads. So, yeah. Basically, the Hurricanum and Durthu together had tried to kill 10 of them and failed. And left 2 alive, which is really annoying. So
all I did was remove the back ones, because the objective's already mine.
Yeah, so he was the closest.
So I kept the closest, so Simon would have had to shoot with the crossbows against them, which would have killed them, meaning Durthu couldn't charge. And
he just would have had to have gone into the eels instead.
He wants to get the objective.
Yeah.
So then what he did was he moved... Well, you told me.
I moved with my strike and melt away, and then Chris redeployed and moved 3 inches that way.
I moved forwards towards him,
yeah,
so that he cannot...
So that I can't get onto that.
The objective.
Unless you then move and then I redeploy 6 and...
I can't move in your turn.
Do all that fun stuff. Okay, so we're going to go into the charge phase. So I have no CPs left. We are going to go with... what are we going to go with?
The charge phase?
The charges. So Durthu is going to roll.
Oh!
He gets a double one anyway, so he can't go in. And then the Dryads are going to try to charge, and they get a 7. I'll just see if they're in. We'll come back. Nah. So that's it. That's my turn. Durthu did fuck all. And then it's going to be Idoneth turn 1. So this is where the game stands. I get 2 points. I get hold 1, hold 2. I do not get hold more because I missed that. This is just fucked. I'm done. I'm out. I'm quitting. And hold 1, hold 2, and I got my battle trait, so we'll go with that. So I get 4. We'll come back end of hero phase for the Idoneth turn 1.
I'm using a CP to keep.
Right, so end of Idoneth turn 1 hero phase. You can see that there are more fucking Namati back here. Since I rolled a double 1, they're not good. They rallied and brought back 4.
4 out of 8?
4 out of 8.
Seems good.
Yeah, good. That's alright, Sava did the same on the weekend apparently. Storm Fiends, rolled 7 dice, rolled 3 6s, sounds fair. And then he attempted to cast 2 spells, failed to cast the Life Swarm on a 5 with a reroll. 6 with a reroll, rolled 5 both times. And then the Eidolon attempted to cast Horrorghast, and I unbound it with the Tree Lord Ancient, who is standing next to an arcane piece of terrain.
And
then
generic.
Yeah, you got your bless off on the Ishlayan.
Yep.
And that was about it.
Yep.
Oh, and you got an extra CP on the Tidecaster, which you used to rally. Yep. And I went their finest moment their finest hour on Derpthu, just in case he gets charged, which he probably will. And the battle tactic is, for Chris's turn, is this one, Ferocious Advance. Let's zoom in, there we go. Ferocious Advance, so 3 units run. Basically, okay, it really doesn't like that. There we go. 3 units run. So we'll come back at the end of the movement phase and see where all of his shit has moved to. Alright, so all of this stuff is here. Everything ran, because you can run and charge.
Yeah,
or run and shoot. So the Reavers are up here, wholly within 9 inches of staff. The remaining Namati have run up into this tiny little gap here. The Eels are 3 inches away. Basically everything is kind of pushed over to this side. So this is where the fight is happening. And we're going to go to the shooting phase now. Chris really wants to kill that Hurricanum. Don't know why. Hurricanums are shit. 280 points, I didn't have to put them up. Those guys also right over there.
There's no wizard on there.
Yeah, look at all this shit.
Why would you ever do that?
Look at all this shit, it's so good.
Points,
Shut up, Chris. Alright, we'll come back at the end of the shooting phase and see what the Reavers have killed. Hopefully they try and kill Derthu and fail miserably. But we will see. Alright, end of the shooting phase. Not a whole lot's happened. Fishman, Pointy Man tried to fish the Dryads and they made their 1 armor save. The Turtle tried to harpoon the General and did 1 wound. And then all of these 30 guys tried to shoot the Hurricanum and did 6 wounds. So they got 16 wounds through. I rolled an above average number of saves. So he's taken 6 wounds and has 5 left. So all these guys are still going to be +1 to hit range. And now we're going to go to the charge phase. So who are you pointing at? No one?
Pointing at the Dryads.
So everyone has to charge the Dryads.
Everybody within 12 of them?
Yeah.
Which
is everyone.
Will be everything, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so +3 to charge against the Dryads. What Chris is hoping for is that he rolls high enough on these guys so that they get in here. Is that basically it? Yeah. And that these guys get close enough, they get there, and then the rest of them go into him. It's a bit of a stupid rule, because one guy has to finish within ½ an inch, but yeah. Alright, so let's do some charge rolls. So who's charging?
I need to think about this. So your Hurricanum space is more than 3?
Yeah,
I think it's 3.
Alright, we'll come back because we're going to have boring Chris discussion, so we'll be back. Alright, we're back at the end of the combat phase. There, as you can see, no Dryads left. They are all dead, which is probably unsurprising given what happened over here. The Friggle Guard, I lost 8 of them. They are Bravery 7, so it's dice plus 1 of them will run. Oh, that'd be nice. It's going to re-roll into a 6 now. There we go. So 4 more of them run. So I've lost 12 crossbowmen. The Hurricanum died to the guys that didn't die to Derthu and then rallied and then charged and did a lot of other stuff. So the Hurricanum's dead. Derthu obviously wasn't engaged, and the Tree Lord Ancient did nothing to the 2+ armor save Eels. So you need to take a battle shock on those guys. They lost 1. Or is your bravery like 1,000 because you're not humans?
No, they're the Eels, you mean?
No, these guys. Well, the Eels have to do it as well, but they don't care because only 1 died.
6 and they can both reroll.
Yeah. So
I'll do the Thralls.
Thralls. Can you roll it in?
They're fine.
They're fine, and the Eels.
And the Eels. Also fine.
Cool. So Chris loses nothing. I lose everything. We will now go into the priority roll for turn 2. If Chris gets this, it's basically game over. Because I have nothing left. Anyway. It's not game over yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I also did 1 wound to the Eidolon and 1 wound to the fucking turtle, and I killed an eel, and that was it, and 1 thrall. So not a lot. Go in the middle here. Priority. Yep, cool.
I'm going to give it to you so you can see what you can do.
Okay, so we'll call it there. That is a loss to the Living City, because after this turn, he'll be dead, and all them will be dead. So I would literally have 20 models left. But I'll take this and we will see what would happen if I got this turn, but I think it's pretty much over anyway. But we'll come back. Alright, end of hero phase, turn 2 for Cities of Sigmar. The Sorcerer stabbed the dude, did Word of Pain on the turtle and did 2 mortal wounds. And then she cast Iron Oak Skin on the Tree Lord Ancient for an extra -1 to wound on him. And both of those were successful. He then cast Rouse in the Wildwoods and did 1 mortal wound to the turtle and 1 mortal wound to the Eidolon. And that's about it. Command abilities. Oh, sorry. I went with Broken Rank, so I've nominated these thralls to die. And command abilities, he did this +1 armor save, he did +1 to hit and wound on himself and the crossbows. So that's it at the end of this hero phase. What did we do for... Oh, you went their finest hour on the Eidolon as well, and I went for an extra CP and failed again. So we will come back at the end of the shooting phase. Right, end of the irrelevant movement phase. Birds came on. These guys stayed 9 inches away from the turtle. These guys stayed within out of 9 inches of the turtle. Dirthu didn't move because I didn't want to trigger redeploy. These guys obviously stayed in combat because if they try and run away, it doesn't matter anyway. And then he stayed in combat as well. He moved up 9 inches away from stuff, so they can't reposition. So we're going to go into the shooting phase. These guys have to shoot the eels. He has to shoot the eels, and Dirthu has to shoot the what are those guys called? Reavers. No one else has a gun. So we'll come back at the end of the shooting phase. All right, shooting's done. Tree Lord Ancient did nothing. I mean, sorry, did 1 wound. The crossbowman shot removed an eel, and Dirthu shot and didn't do anything. So we're going to go into the charge phase now. So old Free Guild General mate's going to charge. Good, another double 1, excellent. And Dirthu's going to charge. I'm glad that I got that double 1 out of the way.
Did it that way.
Well, he could have re-rolled, but what the fuck ever. And then so Dirthu gets an 8, and then these guys are going to try and charge the turtle and tie it up, and they get a 13, so they'll probably get in. Nice. So we'll come back at the end of the combat phase and see how many Dark Shards are dead. Oh, sorry, Bleak Swords. We're going to call the game here. Basically, those guys died to the turtle, as they were always going to. I just wanted one to live, but they didn't. Dirthu charged, got Unleash Hell from these 30 dudes. I probably should have honestly just gone into them with Dirthu and just tried to chop them up. But he wouldn't have had the +1 armor save then and probably would have died even more. So Dirthu technically has 1 wound left, but I just took him off because I'm done. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm over this game.
I haven't had a second turn yet.
The eels, you haven't even had a second turn yet. The eels didn't die to anything. Dirthu, Tree Lord Ancient didn't hit or wound with anything in combat. And then I got into him with 4 attacks. Hit with all, wounded with all. He saved 3 of them because he had their finest hour and all out defense. And so I did nothing. I did 2 wounds. He still got like 12 left, 8 left, whatever. And then it would have been Idoneth turn 2, and then Dirthu just dies to shooting, and then he's free to charge all the stuff over here. So it's a board wipe by the Idoneth Deepkin, which is unsurprising. So I would go to 9 this turn. Your next turn you would go to probably 8, and then but all my stuff would be dead. So, or even you could just nominate the turtle to kill my general, which is standing here by herself. Yeah. And get another one, so you'd probably go to 9 as well.
I'd probably just go kill a monster.
Or kill the battle line.
Kill the ancient.
Or kill the ancient. Yeah, so you'd go to 9, and then the next turn you would probably score everything. So it's an overwhelming victory to the Idoneth Deepkin. Willing to call it there because of a number of misplays on my part, and then a number of rolls that didn't go my way. So that's fine. These guys are fucked. They're real good. These guys are fucked. This guy's fucked. This guy's fucked. It's all fucked.
No more siren soap, baby!
Because all this stuff is on a 2-up armor save, basically.
Oh, they're on a 3-up. They just ignore it.
When they charge, they're on a 2-up.
They're on a 2-up when they charge.
So, yeah, something for everyone to understand. Ishlayan have a rule that doesn't improve their save roll by 1 when they charge. It improves their save characteristic to a 3+. So they're actually on a 2+ when they're within range of the Leviathan when they charge.
Or I use all that defense.
Or you use all that defense, and they're still on a 2-up, so they're obnoxious. This guy gives everything within 18 inches, +1 to wound now. Yep. He's on a 3-up base, so he can go to 2-up with all that defense.
1-up with their finest hour.
1-up with their finest hour, obnoxious.
Mystic Shield.
The turtle doesn't crack armor. His armor doesn't crack until he's taken 9 wounds. And he's got a 2-up, which he can make a 1-up with all out defense, Mystic Shield, anything. Rude. And then these guys are really good within 9 inches, and basically because anything has to charge them within 9 inches with Unleash Hell for them to trigger Unleash Hell.
So they did, 72 shots into Dirthu?
Yeah.
Even with the negatives?
Even with a 2-up save and a 5-up after save, they're still put.
He did
5 wounds through? Wounds. Yep. Obnoxious. These guys are not obnoxious, I don't mind these guys. These guys are alright. Everything else in this army, obnoxious.
For the listeners, they are obnoxious.
Obnoxious.
They are obnoxious.
Everything's obnoxious. Alright, thanks for the game, Chris.
Thanks.
Hello everybody. So this is just kind of a post-battle report wrap-up that I just wanted to record because I was a salty bitch during that game. So I presume that it came through during the video, so I apologise if anyone didn't enjoy it. I tried to not do it on video, but like just a couple of things just didn't go my way and it got very annoying. So lesson 1 is that is not how to act when you are losing. It was compounded by a number of things during the game. Like, again, there's no excuse for it, but I'm just trying to cover where I came from in my mind space. So Durthu and Hurricanum not being able to kill 10 thralls was pretty big to allow the crossbowmen to shoot into the eels. Chris didn't think it would really matter, but in the end, I think it did matter a bit. We rolled it out, I would have killed 2.5 eels with those 60 shots. And then potentially if he came into me or got a different charge roll, he would have had less eels to attack with, less crossbows die. Essentially what happened with everything in that, that first turn of his, it all kind of compounded into me very, very quickly losing the game. I think one of the main issues with the list that I ran was... So first of all, issues with the list. I think that was a 2nd edition list that I was running in 3rd edition. So I think that's a mistake that a lot of people are going to make in the beginning. So I've got lots of stuff with low armor saves in the Dryads. Even though the Dryads are like, -1 to hit, -1 to wound, +1 save, all that, you still can't stack buffs. And so Chris's Eidolon and Leviathan that give +1 to hit and +1 to wound all cancel out my defensive tech. And so his army was perfectly poised to basically counter mine, which I'm sure people understand that it gets very frustrating when somebody has a list that perfectly turns off all of your tech, and it's very draining and very annoying. We played that, so you would have seen the redeploy when Durthu did the strike and fade away. We did that wrong. You can't actually redeploy outside of your opponent's movement phase, so that wouldn't have changed anything because Durthu then rolled a double 1 to charge, needing a 3. He would have needed a 5 otherwise, so it's irrelevant. But where it was relevant was that it enabled Chris to get into the Hurricanum with a charge. And then the Eels getting that, the big charge to get them over the top of the Dryads, to get into my backfield that I hadn't properly blocked off. It all just kind of went to shit. So I've already apologized to Chris. I just thought I'd say sorry to everyone for being so salty during the game. It's a good example of how not to play 3rd edition, I think. So I didn't need to push up into Chris's army. So when I redeployed on that right-hand flank, I didn't need to push there. I was trying to do something funny, and I do this with the battle reports. I try to do fun stuff that will look good on camera, because it doesn't look great if your army's just sitting back on the objectives for the first 4 turns. Or sorry, for the first 3 turns, which I think is what you actually want to do in the Vice. You want to sit, and I had those Aether Wings at the back, so the Aether Wings sit on the objective for the first turn. 2nd turn, the Aether Wings move on to the objectives again and sit on them for the 2nd and 3rd turn. Meanwhile, you block off board space with your units. And probably because I concentrated everything on that right-hand flank, what it allows Chris to do is to put all of his army and all of his buffs in the same place to take out the 1 unit. So he could afford to shift his entire army towards my right flank because that's where I put all of my shit. Whereas what I probably should have done is waited until maybe turn 2 or 3 and made him kind of guess and think about where my army was going to go, and then deploy basically to split his army in 2. It would have been a smarter choice. I'm going to play with that list or a similar list again on the channel. I think the Dryads are... against some armies they'll be okay, and they're pretty good for 95 points, but I just think that in 3rd edition, running everyone's going to be gearing up to armor crack, and so you're going to have high rend things, or you're going to have high armor save things. And dryads don't like either of those, and as they have a 5+ armor save to start with, the max they can get to is a 4+, and that really shone through in this game. I think I much would have preferred to just have Dread Spears, 90 points, 4-up armor save, 30 of them is 15 points cheaper than dryads. They can't go through the trees, but it's 30 bodies with a 4-up save as opposed to a 5-up. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. That was it. That was a pretty good schooling in how not to play against Idoneth. Idoneth always tilt me anyway, just because one of the rules ignores one of the basic tenets of the game, and coming from an army like Cities where you're going to be shooting in pretty much every list that you make, not being able to target what you want to is frustrating, to say the least. And that frustration always gets me when I'm playing Idoneth, and it definitely got to me in this game. And Chris likes to, so Chris and I have a very fun relationship, in that we just poke it, like both of us are salty as fuck when things aren't going our way, and the other person just pokes and pokes and pokes and plays the poke the bear game until just before the other person snaps, and then they stop. And Chris did exactly that during the game as well. So, and it's all in good humor. We are very good friends, and I do the same to him, so I can't judge him for that. But that was it was pretty much a clinic in how not to play into Idoneth, and probably a clinic in how not to play 3rd edition. So I'm sorry to all you guys if the battle report seems like a waste of time. I just wanted to kind of pad it out with a bit more post-battle wrap-up, because the last battle report was really good, and against Dodgy, and it was really well received, and probably 2 well-paired armies against each other. And then in this game, it just didn't really work out. So we discussed the outcome at the end. We estimated the final score for that game to be 27-12. So I was on 9 at the end of my turn. Chris would have basically table wiped me and then we rolled off. I got the priority. Like he would have tabled me anyway, because he got the double from 1 into 2. And he gave it to me, whereas he didn't need to. So in reality, what he would have done at a tournament is fucking pile on and take the second turn and just wipe my entire army. But by giving me the second turn, it allowed me to get priority in turn 3, and then run the 3 Aether Wings that were over on that left-hand flank, just all run them around together, and to get that battle tactic and to capture that objective. And so that would have got me another 3. And basically we just said that's where it would have ended scoring-wise for me. And so I would have been on 12, and then Chris would have gotten basically everything every turn from then on out, plus an extra, plus 2 extra VPs from killing Durthu and the Tree Lord Ancient. So even with this is the thing, like even though the game, like I kind of tapped out at the bottom of 2, the game still would have been 27-12. Like, I don't know. It seems like it's a lot closer, and I apologize. I wish I did play it out so that we could have seen exactly where it would have gone and what the final score would have been. There was no way I was going to win, but sometimes it's important to play games out like that to see how you could have gotten the most victory points out of a loss. Because at a tournament, and especially in 3rd edition, points differential is probably going to matter a lot, and so you don't want to concede those games and just go, oh, I'm done, and then have it called at that point, and those are the points you get, because you might be able to get 1 or 2 extra points later on in the game, and you might be able to get 1 or 2 simple battle tactics later on in the game, and that might be the difference between becoming, besides coming like 9th and 10th. And it might not be a lot to most people, but some of for those of us that like to chase masters points, that like 1 or 2 points can be crucial. So yeah, that was a bit of a ramble. I'm sorry. I'm running a tournament tomorrow, and then tomorrow night I'm recording an episode of The Honest Wargamer with Rob to go over Cities and talk about my experiences with 3rd edition so far. So tune into that if you might be interested, and I will see you all. Well, I will speak to you all from the magic of the internet next week when I release my video on how I think every single city of Sigmar has fared going into 3rd edition. So I look forward to talking to you guys then. Cheers.